Elias, the mage, bids £5 million to win the auction and adopts Chise, an orphan shunned by society and slavery. They move to the house and announces she will be his apprentice. He asks her to bathe, during which fairies visit and reveals she is a slay beggy, a type of mage who unconsciously attracts magical creatures who can help her in need, though helping them may harm as easily as it helps. That night, the fairies convince Chise to walk through the woods, where they attempt to kidnap her despite Elias. After Chise insists on staying with Elias, he knows what the fairies were planning, and using the opportunity to show Chise a magical creature's idea of help. Elias wishes for Chise to become his wife. Chise awakens having slept for 2 days after her fairy ordeal. Elias takes her shopping to a Magus shop disguised as a bookstore. Chise meets the shop owner, Angelica Burley, a Magus craft artificer making magical tools. When she learns about the adoption and proposal, she angrily sends him out. Angelica teaches Chise about alchemy. While magic is closer to being a miracle capable of bending reality with help from magical creatures, she magically shapes a crystal into a flower. Chise has a flashback of her mother in the field, causing Angelica's workshop to fill with hundreds of crystal flowers. However, Elias stops them from spreading. Angelica sells Chise a magical knife, coat, and several other magical items. As they return home, they meet Simon Callum, who asks Elias for a favor in return for the church from interfering the affair. At Iceland, Chise is kidnapped by a dragon and its male caretaker, Lindell. Chise wakes up at the nesting ground where he meets a wise dragon named Uncle Nevin, who is dying and turning his body into a tree. He explains that dragons are not afraid of death and live longer without regrets. Chise remembers being so alone she considered suicide, but Nevin is glad she chose to live, or Elias never would have found her. In his final moment, Nevin shares with her his memories of flying. Elias regrets that as human populations grow, Chise may one day be one of the last surviving mages. Nevin dies transforming his body into a tree covered in white flowers, and tells Chise that when the time comes and she needs a wand, he would be happy for her to use one of his branches, as thanks for making his final moments happy. Chise feels she has learned something about living a happy life. Before leaving, Chise collapses after expending magic and sharing memories with Nevin. Chise awakens on a train with Elias. They meet a cat messenger who informs Elias the Cat King is waiting. Chise learns the rumor she is a special person. Chise sees a mysterious woman before meeting the Cat King, who reveals there is a problem within the kingdom. Elias begins investigating while Chise learns about the history. Years ago, a man who enjoyed killing cats was killed by the first Cat King, and his corrupted soul imprisoned on an island. Chise is kidnapped by the mysterious woman who drops her into the lake. There, Chise meets Mina, a deceased woman whose husband, Matthew, went mad after she died. Chise resolves to free them. Elias saves Chise and asks her to cleanse Matthew. Chise prepares her spell but is stopped by the mysterious woman and a man named Renfred, sorcerers who want the corrupted Matthew for other purposes. Renfred accuses Elias of using Chise and hiding the truth about slay beggies with a limited lifespan. The mysterious woman, Alice, explains slay beggies are valuable because they continuously generate magical power, but the strain it puts on the body results in an early death. Renfred offers to free Chise, but she chooses to stay with Elias. Elias keeps the two sorcerers away while Chise performs the cleansing spell. Inside Matthew's mind, Chise asks a sorcerer to cure Mina. The sorcerer teaches Matthew how to make a potion that steals Cat's 9 lives to make Mina healthy. They force Mina to drink and she dissolves into liquid. The sorcerer had used Mina's failure to test his soul manipulation spell. Matthew was then killed by the Cat King. Mina had wanted Chise to erase her and Matthew from existence, since the corruption prevented them from finding their way to the afterlife, condemning them to an eternity in the darkness. The Cat King offers her 9th life to act as their guide. Chise instead uses her fairy's power over the wind to carry Mina and Matthew to the afterlife where they happily reunite after so long apart. While watching them, Chise cannot help but wonder how many years she has left. With Matthew's soul cleansed, Renfred and Alice leave and meet the sorcerer who killed Mina. Elias informs Chise she probably only has 3 years of life remaining, but he believes he has found a method of preventing her death. Chise promises to stay by his side before she passes out. Chise remains unconscious for 2 weeks, limiting her physical functions in favor of restoring her magic faster. They meet Titania, Queen of the Fairies, and her husband, King Oberon, before Chise wakes up. Chise surprises the king by running straight to Elias instead of being frightened of him. The king believes Chise and Elias do not have children. Chise wonders about this while Elias experiences an unknown feeling in his gut. which amuses Titania. As they leave, Oberon wonders whether Chise and Elias will stay together. Titania believes it would make more sense to guess exactly how many children they would end up having. While returning home, Chise wishes she had met Elias years ago. Elias assures her it doesn't matter, since he intends on curing her so they can spend decades together. The sorcerer, Cardophilius, threatens to use Alice in an experiment if Renfred fails him again. Elias is asked to discover if a grim in a nearby graveyard is dangerous. He gives Chise a magical ring to reduce the amount of magic she generates. At the graveyard, they find that a young woman was killed. Chise is attacked by a dark magical creature, but is saved by a young man who crushes the creature before collapsing from bite wounds. He suddenly transforms into the Grim. Alice tries to take the Grim, but Chise knocks her unconscious with a sleeping potion. The Grim, called Eurus, cannot remember who injured him. Alice reveals Cardophilius wants to turn Eurus into a chimera. Elias appears and decides Eurus is safe. Alice asks Elias to help with Cardophilius, who took Renfred's arm and created the chimera that killed the woman. Elias agrees since the church was probably going to ask him to do it. Cardophilius attacks Chise. Elias attacks Cardophilius's praying mantis chimera. Chise experiences Yuri's memories of Isabel and suddenly awakens, quickly rushing to stop Elias, unafraid of his true form. Renfred appears and shoots Cardophilius. Elias returns to normal, believing Chise is courageous. Cardophilius returns to life and summons a spider chimera. Chise stops Yuri's and unleashes her magic, summoning tarantula hawks to kill the spider. Elias stops her as spells used to change the rules of nature are forbidden. They are suddenly teleported away by a will-o'-the-wisp, blue flame. It berates Eurus for clinging to his memories of Isabel. Eurus finally accepts that Isabel is dead and asks to become Chise's familiar. Cardophilius reappears, but his arm is shot off by Alice. Chise makes Yuri's her familiar and renames him Ruth. Empowered by Chise, Ruth destroys the chimera. Cardophilius decides to leave, but reveals he has spent eternity experimenting to free himself of the pain his body is cursed with. Renfred and Alice depart. Blue Flame retrieves the souls from the chimeras and guides them to the afterlife. Since the incident with Cardophilius, Elias stays in the bedroom and avoids anybody. Silver, the fairy landlady, requests Chise and Ruth go shopping. At the town, they meet Angelica, who learns Chise has become dependent on Elias. Chise realizes Angelica is right. Chise enters Elias's room, finding that he is stuck in his inhuman form. Chise stays with him all night. The next day, Elias leaves before Chise and Ruth try to find him. Chise meets Lennon Sidhe, a type of fairy living off of a human's life force, and is haunting a wise man named Joel, but does not steal the life force. Chise believes the Lennon Sidhe loves Joel, but the Lennon Sidhe insists such a thing is impossible, before giving Chise a kiss and telling her to visit Joel someday. Chise becomes upset at Elias for hiding anything at the forest. Elias promises he will tell her everything when he is ready. A fairy familiar appears with a message from Lindell asking Chise to visit the dragons. Chise struggles to control her magic, and Lindell makes a wand from Uncle Nevin's tree for her. Chise worries about being separated from Elias, but she and Ruth travel to the land of dragons without him. After meeting Lindell, Chise sets about finding a suitable branch to become her wand. Back home, Elias is notably upset at Chise's absence, remarking that the house feels colder without her. Via a magical messenger bird, Elias speaks with Adolf Stroud, an administrator from the college wanting to talk about Chise's future. Lindell tells Chise how he first met Elias hundreds of years ago walking through a snowy forest alone. He took him to his master, Rahab, who cannot identify what he is. Elias himself cannot remember anything about where he came from except for the color red. Rahab decides Lindell should take him as his apprentice and names him Elias. Renfred informs Elias that he will ruin her if he does nothing. Lindell tells Chise about the time he spent training Elias. He noticed while Elias was a quick learner, he had trouble understanding humans. On an occasion, Elias almost killed several villagers who attacked Lindell. Elias tells Lindell he thinks he ate humans once and still has urges to do so. Despite learning this, Chise insists he has never frightened her. Lindell suggests that she tell Elias exactly how she feels. Chise is instructed to carve Nevin's branch into a wand. As night falls, Lindell demonstrates his power and sings a beautiful song that causes flowers to bloom. Chise accidentally casts a mirror spell on the lake, through which she can see Elias. Elias tells her how he feels, that their home feels cold without her, despite it being summer. Chise says she is ready to tell him what she could not tell him before and promises to return home after using the wand. Lindell complains he feels like a father raising 2 children. Silver buries the magical bird used to relay Renford and Adolph's voices to Elias, implying Elias killed the bird after they warned him about the future. With Chise still away, Elias thinks about how close he has become to her. With Chise finished carving her wand, Lindell sings a new spell, combining the wand with magical gems and Chise's hair. As Chise holds her wand, she has a vision of the spirit realm where she meets Uncle Nevin. She admits her feelings for Elias worry her, as she had tried to stay distant in case he didn't want her anymore. Nevin tells Chise he is grateful her mother chose to protect her because she could never have helped people. He tells her to think about what she wants to do with her life. When Chise awakens, she declares with a smile that she has something to tell Elias and casts a powerful spell to fly back to Elias in the form of a giant fiery phoenix. As she arrives in Elias's arms, he becomes happy. Their home feels warm again. Before Chise can tell him what she wants to say, she falls asleep from using magic. Chise dreams about a time when her parents were happy, then awakens after 2 days of sleep, happy for the first time in years. Chise and Elias share Woolybug, a flying sheep with cool air on wool. When the same species steal the body heat from Chise, Elias fends them off and sends Chise indoors to warm up. Chise reveals she knows about Elias's impulse to eat humans, and the time he was tempted to eat her while in his inhuman form. Elias nearly erases the memory, but she prevents him from doing so. Since she lost her parents and brother, Elias was the only family she had, so the thought of losing Elias scares her more than anything. Chise also reveals that both of her parents had the sight, and could see the same creatures that most other humans cannot see. Elias admits he has no experience of emotions, except for feeling cold when Chise was gone and warm when she returned. Chise recognizes this as loneliness and promises to teach him human things. While showing scenes of Chise studying her magic books, Angelica sent it to her, including the storybook. They are visited by a fairy acquaintance of Elias named Ashen Eye, who gives Chise a gift for capturing and binding fellow spirits. He traps Chise in an animal skin, transforming her into a fox. Chise goes to the forest, but Elias asks her to stay as he dislikes the cold when she left. Chise reverts into a human as she does the same thing. Chise is asked by the Lennon Seed to save Joel, who was dying, as she had been unintentionally draining his life. Elias tells Joel he probably only has a week to live. Joel accepts his fate as he's been happy. His one wish is to speak with the red-eyed girl living in his garden. Chise decides to create a forbidden potion, allowing Joel to see Lennon Seed. Elias almost refuses due to the magic required, but instead warns Chise against exhausting herself. 5 days later, the Lennon Seed uses the potion on Joel. Joel happily offers her his remaining life for unintentionally inspiring him to continue living after his wife died. As his life runs out, Joel fades away, leaving her devastated. The Lennon Seed decides to stay in Joel's garden to avoid hurting any more people. King Oberon confiscates the rest of the forbidden potion. Chise becomes weaker after limiting her magic and the ring shatters. Elias and Oberon take Chise to the land of fairies, where time passes rapidly, so she can recover under the care of the fairy doctor, Shannon. Titania tells Elias it would be safer for Chise to live in the fairy kingdom. Shannon tells Chise that living there would eventually turn her into something resembling a fairy. Elias, claiming he values Chise's will, declining Titania's offer. Shannon lures Chise to a pool then, claiming she hates sleigh baggies, tries to drown her. Chise finds the strength to fight back and overpower Shannon, only to find her injuries healed. Shannon apologizes as she had used Chise's sudden desire to live as a healing spell. Silver becomes increasingly agitated, and Elias and Chise do not return. She recalls her previous life as a banshee who lost the human family she was haunting. She was rescued by a Spriggan who tells her to always protect the weak. He transforms her into a Silky, and places her with the human family living in the house Elias will one day own. Chise and Elias conclude that months have passed for winter. On Christmas Eve, Chise and Elias are reminded by fairies called the Yule Twins to be sure to burn a Yule log for the Horned God and Dark Lady. Chise and Elias share an awkward kiss beneath mistletoe, which, Elias claims, makes his back tingle. Chise goes shopping with Alice, who needs help choosing a present for Renfred. They meet Hazel, a centaur postman, who suggests them to buy presents for Renfred. They are accosted by Alice's former drug dealer who wants her to begin buying drugs again, but they escape. Alice explains that as a child she forcefully used drugs, until Renfred met her. Following an incident where a spirit scarred Renfred's face, Alice promised to always look after him. Ruth tells Chise he is happy to find a friend. Chise returns home and gives a new bolo tie for Elias to replace the old one. In return, Elias gives Chise a teddy bear he made himself, along with the other gifts she received from Angelica, Simon, and Lindell. Meanwhile, Ash and I sees a young boy in the woods. Stella requests Chise to find her brother Ethan when he left the family. Chise realizes the teddy bear Elias gave her grows crystal flowers by absorbing magic. She receives a magic reduction bracelet from Angelica. Stella agrees to pay Chise with homemade sweets. After giving the crystal flowers for the creatures, they learn that Ash and I kidnapped Ethan, and Stella realizes her mistake. When Ash and I separates the others, Elias believes Ethan is amnesic. Chise locates them under a lake with the scent. Ethan forgives Stella after Ash and I returns their memories, but after taking a crystal flower Chise gave to Stella. Despite their success, Chise becomes upset about her lost brother. Stella visits Chise with her payment of sweets. Elia, irritated by Stella, runs away. Chise finds him hiding in a shadow but becomes worried as he restrains her and seems to want to bite her. As Stella returns to London, both Ash and I and Cardophilius are seen nearby. Chise becomes afraid Elias may be about to eat her and sends a distress signal to Ruth. Ruth is helped by the fairy daughter of the Dark Lady, who shows him which shadow Elias is hiding. Chise realizes Elias and Stella are upset. As his grip tightens, she gets angry and threatens to stab herself, causing him to suddenly let go. Elias admits he became afraid Chise would leave. Chise and Elias later sleep in the same bed, where she sings him a lullaby. Chise visits Angelica, worrying Elias is sleeping for several days. Angelica suggests Chise may have accidentally sang a lullaby for the spell. Chise awakens Elias, offering a remedy for him to drink, before she passes out. Meanwhile, Cardophilius kidnaps a dragon. Cardophilius performs a procedure on the dragon. In a dream, Chise visits London and sees Cardophilius suffering pain and insisting her to name him Joseph. During the meeting, Chise learns Cardophilius has stole a teleportation device from Renfred in order to kidnap and sell a dragon at the same auction house. There, Chise and the others plan to spend the money and buy the dragon. While Elias and Renfred argue about the future, a woman contacts Chise and they make an unknown agreement. As a result of Cardophilius' procedure, the traumatized dragon transforms into a giant chimera version of itself and goes on a rampage. To end the suffering pain, Chise absorbs the dark magic from the dragon, and they fall unconscious into the river. Chise wakes up at home and finds her left arm mutated and restrained by bandages. She concludes her body will fall apart after absorbing and spreading the curse. Shannon has Chise stay in the kingdom, hoping a fairy might help her. Chise promises to consider the offer this time. Elias and Chise discuss how they will move forward with the time Chise has left. They are visited by Mariel, the witch Chise met at the auction. Mariel sees Chise's arm and offers to help her find a cure, but only if she becomes a witch and joins her coven. Chise attends the meeting as Mariel warns Elias about Chise. Elias and Chise meet Phyllis, Mariel's high priestess. As they leave, Mariel apologizes for wasting time and passes a message to Elias, suggesting that to save a life is for someone to be sacrificed. Elias captures Stella when Cardophilius possesses her. Cardophilius, as Stella, congratulates Elias for being a monster. After berating Elias and leaving home, Chise pursues Stella. Cardophilius promises Chise to release Stella in return for leaving with him and participate for experiments. As they teleport and vanish, Elias arrives late and finds the necklace. Chise wakes up in the laboratory. Cardophilius explains his plan. Since he is cursed with eternal life and Chise is cursed to die, he proposes to swap her arm for his own, hoping it will curse him to die and for her to live. After forcibly performing corneal transplantation, Cardophilius enters Chise's mind. While Chise was tormented by creatures, her father and brother died abandoning the latter, and her mother committed suicide after a failed attempt to kill her. Chise confronts and congratulates her mother for their memory. The fragment reveals Cardophilius has the blessing curse. She asks what he wanted in return. The fragment says there was one wish he wanted for thousands of years. However, Chise wakes up in reality and tells Cardophilius what happened. Titania and Oberon offer Elias to help him bring Chise to the Fairy Kingdom. Elias decides to become a good person and forgive Chise. Titania and Elias cast a locating spell. Phyllis tells Mariel to help fix the problem she caused. Chise learns that Cardophilius has fused with Joseph and switched their names when he was a gravedigger. Cardophilius threw a stone at Jesus during his crucifixion and was punished with immortality, a memory he had lost. Cardophilius attacks Chise, but she is saved by Elias and their allies. Chise pursues Cardophilius at the fountain. Chise and Cardophilius argue about different ways they suffer. Ashenai appears near Cardophilius, while Ruth, Elias, and Ariel, the Wind Fairy, save Chise. Ashenai tries to flee them but is defeated by Elias and Ariel. Though Chise fails to put Cardophilius to sleep, Elias traps him and Ruth retrieves the eye. Chise hugs Cardophilius and sings a lullaby to end their suffering. They share a dream and survive the curse. Later, Chise forgives Elias for all the things he did, and he responds to her for decision. They make an agreement about the future. Life returns to normal and Cardophilius is now being kept by Chise in a place where he sleeps peacefully. Ashenai, who survived the attack, expresses his disappointment. Chise visits Angelica and Stella, who both give her birthday gifts. Elias discovers Chise in a wedding dress and veil at the forest. She places a ring on his left hand, and they promise to stay together. And that's the end of the video. As always, if you liked what you saw, subscribe to the channel. I'll be uploading a lot of videos just like this, so I'll see you at the next one.